Oh, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company and Elon Musk. So I thought I'd touch on a topic that I mentioned in the previous video in regards to a possible future project for the Boring Company, linking the Purple line of the Metro and the Expo line. This is very likely to happen, and I believe it is part of a grand scheme to link up North LA and potentially downtown LA in the next 2 to 3 years potentially. So I thought we could look at that today. So the Boring Company LA Metro Purple Line to Expo Line link tunnel. If you've watched my previous video, I went through the Boring Company website and we came across this particular paragraph which links the project, the Expo line and the Purple line. So the Boring Company is excited to build useful public transportation tunnels in LA, including by Sepulveda, and is exploring concepts for potential future alignments. One initial conceptual idea is a tunnel connection between Metro's Purple and Expo lines. So obviously the Purple line is under construction. The Expo line, I believe, is completely finished. So obviously it would make sense to link those two lines in the future. Whether the LA Metro has plans to do that, I am unaware of it. Certainly nothing has gone through planning, so it'll be interesting to see if the Boring Company can step in and complete that job for them. Land that was recently purchased near Sepulveda Expo Station at 2354 South Sepulveda Boulevard is perfectly located in between Westwood VA Hospital and Metro Station on the Purple Line route. So on the Expo line you have a Sepulveda Station, and on the future Purple line you have the Westwood VA. And the actual plot of land that has been acquired by the Boring Company is, I wouldn't say in the middle, but it's certainly along the route. It's very close to Sepulveda Station, probably less than 350 meters. So you would take from that they intend to dig a shaft in that area and link possibly those two stations based on the information that we have gathered from the Boring Company website. Now, I think it's a good idea if we have a look at the map and take a look at where this potential tunnel could be running. As you see here, this is the end of the Purple line. That is where the Westwood VA station would be. And Sepulveda Station on the Expo line is here, although it isn't actually marked on this map, it is here. So if you look at this, which is a better map, you can see the yellow star here is the plot of land that has been acquired via the Boring Company on Sepulveda Boulevard. Here's Sepulveda Station on the Expo line, and here is the future Westwood Station on the Purple line, which is still under construction. Now, if you put all these pieces of information together, it is pretty clear that there's going to be a tunnel running along this route here. It will be running under South Sepulveda Boulevard. I can almost guarantee that. Thus, when the Boring Company is saying on its website it intends to link two stations, one on the Expo line and one on the Purple line, you can only really come to one conclusion, and that is that we're going to be using this station here, the Westwood Station, and the Sepulveda. Now, how much progress has been made on the Purple line? Unfortunately, not much. I believe it's going to be opening in 2023. So as you can see, this is what is being built / is under construction right now. It goes way past this, but they've not even started. So from Koreatown all the way up to here, Beverly Hills, we have a Purple line that's under construction. So There's no real reason for the Boeing company to do this right now, because you'd be linking a working station to a station on the Purple Line that is not due to go online for another potentially 5 years, which is incredibly slow. This is another reason why we need the Boeing company, because extending the LA Metro is just taking years and years and years. So, what do I think about this? I think it's a good idea. I definitely think it's a good idea linking different metro lines if there are currently no plans to do so. And even if there are plans to do so, it obviously makes sense to have a faster link between those two lines. It helps move more people. It offers an alternative in case there's disruption on the metro network. On a particular line, for example, you could use that instead. And obviously it helps sway the LA Council in approving Boring Company projects if they're linking up existing public transport routes. So Elon Musk and his team are being very clever here if they intend to link those two stations, which I'm pretty confident they are going to. However, it is part of a much, much bigger scheme. It involves the tunnel, I believe, at SpaceX, and it also involves linking up Sherman Oaks. Let me explain. Elon's long-term plan is to get a tunnel to Sherman Oaks, that's in North LA, via Bel Air, possibly via a side tunnel. I'd imagine that it wouldn't go to Bel Air and then go to Sherman Oaks. I imagine there'd be a side tunnel along the route going to Bel Air. So you wouldn't be able to go to Bel Air and then go into Sherman Oaks. It would be, the Bel Air would be the end of the line, in a sense. You'd have to go via a loop. So going via, this actual route would go underneath North Sepulveda Boulevard, alongside the 405. Obviously there are plans for that. It's going to happen, I wouldn't say in the short term, but maybe in the medium term. It's certainly on the long-term plan that we've seen for the Boeing company. The plot of land at South Sepulveda Boulevard will be used to construct a TBM shaft next year. So I believe they will use that shaft there to take a TBM all the way up to Sherman Oaks. And then along that route, they will have a side tunnel going to Bel Air. Now, I believe this will, the actual shaft will be dug in 2019. Whether the tunnels will be dug in the same year, I'm unsure. Obviously, there's a lot of planning that needs to go through. They need to convince a lot of people. I believe once they build it, you'll be able to go from SpaceX to Sherman Oaks in around 14 minutes. That's a distance of approximately 23 miles. Probably be able to get to Bel Air slightly less than that, maybe 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Currently, and I only found this out recently, Elon Musk lives in Bel Air. Is this a coincidence? No, I don't believe so. I believe he's looking after himself first, which is not a bad thing. Obviously, he wants to get to work without sitting in traffic. If he can do that in one of his own tunnels, that would be perfect. Do we need a tunnel going all the way to Sherman Oaks? Yes, we do. I mean, you could argue that the tunnels are needed in other parts of LA. There'll certainly be more demand for it. However, the 405 is the busiest interstate. Certainly that part in and around sort of central LA is very, very, very busy. I believe it is the busiest interstate in the country. So, running a tunnel alongside that definitely helps, because it takes people off the road, and it also gives people links to the LA Metro, which again is going to take even more people off the road if they can then go across the city using two forms of transport, the Boeing company and the LA Metro system. It'll be interesting to see if there is a link made to Bel Air. Potentially maybe it goes to Sherman Oaks, and then maybe Elon Musk parks his car in Sherman Oaks. I'm unsure. I doubt it's going to go directly to his house. Frankly, I don't see that happening. However, you know, he is a billionaire. It could potentially happen. Whether it actually people who live in Bel Air would actually want that, I'm unsure. Again, it might not go through planning. But we'll have to see. Like you say, it doesn't disrupt anyone. So, what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, there's no solid facts on this. I'm making predictions. I'm guesstimating based on the information that I have. I'm pretty confident there will be a connection between the Expo line and the Purple line. I believe those two stations, those are the ones that will be used. And I believe that possibly we'll see something in regards to that next year. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think there's enough demand to link Sherman Oaks? Do you think this is purely for Elon Musk's benefit? You know, let me know in the comments below. Also, do you have any thoughts on where we should be running new tunnels in LA? Where do you think the next tunnel after this could come? Let me know, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Hopefully get some new content out next week. And remember, guys, don't be boring. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.